We're going to switch over right now to a foreclosure defense question. It said, what are the chances that the bank will waive a deficiency? And this is a good question from a gentleman named Hal in Cape Coral. Thanks for the question, Hal. It's a good question because there are no rhyme and reason to it. So in every case we handle, we're always asking the bank to waive the deficiency. I don't want to leave my clients out there with a deficiency, and if you don't ask, you're not going to get it. I mean, the banks aren't just offering up waivers of deficiency. They're already taking a beating on the value of the property going down. So if there is going to be a deficiency, naturally they want to get paid. So the first thing they're asking for is, how are you going to pay this deficiency? And then we look at them, we laugh, we go, we're not going to pay the deficiency, we want you to waive it because my client can't afford to pay this. I mean, why would we pay the deficiency on a property? We want to waive it. And then you got to look at the 1099 issues if there are going to be any. Another reason the bank might waive the deficiency is because it may be an insured loan. In other words, they just need the judgment, and they get that judgment, and they go running over to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or whoever, and say, hey, I got this judgment, pay me full value for this loan. So in that case, they would waive the deficiency. There would be no deficiency because they're going to be made whole by a reinsurer or by somebody like a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, depending on the circumstances surrounding the loan. The banks also have their own agenda sometimes. Sometimes they don't need a waiver of the deficiency, or they don't mind giving a waiver of the deficiency because they have just some other agenda. So you never know the ramifications of it, or I always ask. It's our policy to always ask to waive the deficiency, always, in every circumstance. Now, sometimes they say no, and we say, why? But, you know, that starts the negotiating process. But in our cases, that's something that's always standard procedure. Now, if you don't know what a deficiency is, I apologize. Let me go back. If the house is worth $100,000 on the open market and you owe $150,000 to the bank and there's only one mortgage, when that property sells at a short sale or something's going to happen, we're going to go ahead and ask for that $50,000 deficiency that you're not paying to the bank to be waived, saying don't come after my client. In other words, don't sue my client for this money because you'd be wasting your time. Naturally, we have the option of, you know, the clients have the option of filing bankruptcy or something else. But usually if you're pursuing the short sale, you have your own agenda and you're trying to get out of this property as cheaply as possible without the prospect of filing bankruptcy. Or maybe you have a bankruptcy component to your financial plan. That's what I like about it, because in our cases, there's usually more than meets the eye. There's something else going on. Well, we got this property over here, but we want to keep this one, and here's how we want to do this. And again, the more complicated, the more fun it is for me, because I enjoy the gamesmanship of what I do. That's why I enjoy practicing law, because it gives me the opportunity to really set up a chessboard for each client in my brain and figure out how in the world do I win this game for my client with as little resistance to the client as possible. I mean, all that stuff is great, but it depends on how much the client wants to be involved in it. I'm not going to overcomplicate a case just for my own benefit. That's silly. I want the easiest solution, the best solution for my client, so that they understand what we're doing, how we're doing it, and why we're doing it. The end goal being they walk out of this thing much better off financially, with a better future outlook, saying, hey, now I've got these problems beyond me. What do I do next? So that's a good question.